Hi everybody, I am here today with one of my best friends, one of the coolest people you ever meet. This is Jasmine. She is one of the contributors for the Not a Broken Neurotypical Bundle. So check that out, link is in the description. You can hop on the waitlist now, or if you're watching this May 20th to May 26th, it's live now and you can go get a bunch of free gifts. But today we're gonna talk to Jasmine about PMDD and how to sort of manage that. So why don't you tell people who you are first?
Yeah, so I am Jasmine. I am the Chief Joy Officer at Cozy and Practical, where I'm all about helping people find their own blueprint for happiness. And if you are a menstruator, cycle syncing is something that I got into and feel like is a tool that can really help people. So I'm very excited to be in the Not a Broken Neurotypical Bundle to help educate people on PMDD and also have tools that they can use to manage that.
Yes. Okay, so tell us a little bit about what PMDD is and your experience with it.
Yeah, so I had not heard of it until this past year. So I had my first son in October of 2022. And then after he was born, when my menstrual cycle started back up, the first month that it started back up, a week before my period, I went into a real deep depressive episode that I've never experienced before. And I was like, okay, this is weird. It was a period of time where I was just so sad, and I was watching my son, and the only thing that we could do is just watch John Mulaney videos, because I'm like, okay, we gotta survive together, man. And John Mulaney just made it helped during the time when my soul felt dark. And then a week went by, and I felt like myself again. I was like, that was a weird fluke. And then like clockwork, the next month, same thing happened. It was around the same time. I just went into a really dark, depressive episode where I was my husband came home one day, and I was just on the couch, and I was like, I need you to watch our son because I literally can't move off this couch. And yeah, it's kind of dark and sad. I have this sunny persona, but I have sadness inside me. It just it's a dichotomy in between myself. But it was then that I was like, okay, something might be going on. Mm-hmm. So I started Googling depression before cycle, and then that's when something popped up. It's PMS versus PMDD. And I read this article how a lot of people who menstruate experience PMS symptoms, which are pretty common, I would say, for a lot of women. And then there's 5 women in those who menstruate. There's about 5% of the population of people who menstruate that actually have more severe symptoms where it impacts day-to-day life. And it's called premenstrual dysphoric disorder. So that's what PMDD stands for. And for those 5%, they can experience intense depressive episodes, anxiety that impacts their life, just randomly crying for no reason, irritability, and a whole list of symptoms. And so when I was reading this article and reading the symptoms list, it was check, 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 check. And then I'm a problem-solving person. So it was I didn't want to just wallow in this new season of my life where I'm now a person with PMDD, which for all you folks out there who are pregnant or thinking about being pregnant, I didn't know that after having a child, your hormones can trigger things like that. So just know if you recently had a child and you're experiencing this, you're not alone. That happened to me, whereas I've never had this in my life, and I've had a menstrual cycle since I was 13. Yeah, so I found that symptom list. I actually printed it out and I gave it to my husband because I was he was there's nothing that changed in our life. Why are you so sad? And I was I don't know. And so
hold on. Also, you had a child. That changes everything. That changes everything.
Yeah.
To be fair, but
yes.
also your hormones change dramatically. For sure.
Yeah. And so I printed out the article and I was like, I think this is what's going on. And it helped answer a lot of questions. And I know you're an advocate for kind of exploring yourself and maybe what's going on with you as a way to have peace that you're not just crazy, there's something happening, because that's what I felt. I felt like I was just going crazy and it was this big question mark and I was like, am I doing it to myself? What's going on? And so during my research, I'll be honest, I didn't find a ton out there about PMDD. I mean, there were great videos that I found and articles, and there's actually a website dedicated to PMDD, but I felt like there was kind of a gap in the market. So I fell down a rabbit hole on aligning your life with your cycle as a way to kind of not be surprised when the symptoms occur. And so I designed my own symptom tracker and planner that's specifically designed for people who menstruate, so that they can seamlessly plan while taking into account what their hormones and mood is doing and shifting through their menstrual cycle.
Yeah. Okay, you have that. Do you want to show it?
Yes.
Yay.
Okay. So included in the Not a Broken Neurotypical Bundle, hosted by the Neurocuriosity Club. If you download my resource in the bundle, you will get a PDF to print out all the resources that I use to align my life with my cycle and also not be surprised by these PMDD symptoms, because I've done things to help manage them, but it never truly goes away. But you can help yourself get in tune with your cycle and also try to lower how severe your symptoms are.
Sure.
We have the PMDD symptom tracker, and then you get a monthly calendar to plan based on the phases of your cycle. And then you also get a planner where you can plan out maybe your tasks throughout the month based on your cycle. The other thing that I include is a ebook all about PMDD and cycle syncing. So that kind of is a deep dive on the menstrual cycle, because why this isn't educated to menstruators worldwide, I don't understand. But there's 4 phases to the menstrual cycle. They have clinical names, but I found people online talking about their different inner seasons. So your menstrual phase is your inner winter, you're more reflective. And then there's your inner spring, which is your luteal follicular. I go by the inner seasons. There's clinical names in it.
Yeah.
But you have your inner winter, your inner spring, your inner summer, and your inner fall. And it's different days in your menstrual cycle, and your mood and your energy has different levels during those times. So when I'm in my inner winter, when I'm menstruating, I'm more reflective. So that's when I do my monthly goal planning. And then in my inner spring, I'm more creative. So that's when I'll take new courses or things like that. And then when I'm in my inner summer, which is when you're ovulating, you're more social. So that's when I'll plan big launches in my business, or hanging out with friends, or making decisions. And then in the inner fall, which is that PMS, PMDD window, I give myself grace and I try to lighten my workload. And I also try to plan ahead of time to like make sure my house is stocked with like comfort foods, and that the comfort shows and comfort movies will be ready to go as soon as I have like a day. For some reason, during my inner fall phase, I like to rewatch The Hunger Games. I don't know. It's like a weird comfort for me, maybe because it's like a strong female lead. The colors in the movies are really nice, but like I just know that, okay, we're gonna have a Hunger Games marathon during that time. But getting in tune with your own cycle can kind of like help you understand that throughout the month when you're like, I'm feeling super social and I can do all the things, and then all of a sudden it changes and you're like, I just want to stay inside and eat ice cream. It's like, there's reasons for it.
Yes.
There's like hormonal, science-backed things that I think if you aren't aware of them, you'll just like think that you're like constantly being a different person throughout the month. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I really like the quote where it's like, nothing in nature blooms all year long. Why do you expect yourself to? And it's really nice. I think it goes along with those inner seasons. And it's like, okay, sometimes you're going to be very much in bloom and all this stuff. And other times you're just going to be germinating in the ground. And that's fine. Like, it's all good.
Yeah, I love that. And the other hope for this resource is that like the ebook can be shared with like the partners and family members of those who menstruate. Like I said, like when I first discovered PMDD, I gave those resources to my husband because like, you know, I hate this phrase, but you know, there's some people who would be like, are you PMSing? Like, are you on your period? Yeah. And I think that comes from like a lack of education. They don't know like the hormonal backing to it, and that it's not like, we're not choosing it. I'm not choosing to act more irritable than I normally do. There's something physiological going on. And I think the more people who get educated, menstruators and those who love people who menstruate, like the world would be like a better place.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Absolutely. It's like, I get asked sometimes the question of like, oh, well, did you take your meds today? And it's like, all right, fuck you. Like, screw that. But at the same time, like, it's one of those things where it's like PMS is very real and PMDD is very real and needing medication is very real. And when people ask stuff like that, it's not asking 9 times out of 10. It's not like, I'm worried about you and I love you and I want to make sure that you're healthy and happy and these things could be impacting your mood. It's always more like, oh, well, is this like annoying thing happening again? And it's like, yeah, imagine if it's annoying for you, what it's like for me.
Exactly. Yes. A million times yes. And also, like, okay, if I answer yes, will you please make accommodations for me? I like saying, like something like, have grace with me, my uterus hates me. Like, that's kind of like a phrase I've been saying.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
No, that makes a ton of sense. Okay, so you've known about your PMDD for about a year? A little less?
Yes. Yeah, it's been about a year. Okay. Because my son is about a year and a half now, and it was about 6 months after he was born.
Right.
Like I said, it was when my cycle restarted after having him.
Right.
Yeah.
And I know you said, like, you know, menstruation is always going to be a thing, and then when it's not a thing, you have menopause, which is super fun. From what I've heard from people, it's a great time. But basically, we're always having to deal with cycling or the absence of the cycle. And so I know, like you said, there's no, like, magic wand you can wave and make your PMDD go away. But I'm wondering, like, in addition to tracking and everything, are there any other tools that you have used or have like worked for you? I know some people are big fans. There's like certain gummies or teas or anything like that works for you.
So I, first thing, I recommend in addition to like cycle syncing that people who are like Googling like depression before period and like think that they like match these symptoms lists, I'd recommend they make an appointment with their doctor. I had an appointment with the doctor probably like 3 or 4 months after I started experiencing symptoms, and we decided that medication could be a good fit for me, and it really helped. It started lessening like the thoughts of self-harm and like how intense the depressive episodes were. Like I still experience it, but it's less severe, and I think medication had a huge hand on it. So I recommend people at least like talking to their doctor to see if that might be a fit for them. The other thing, I make kind of like a crisis plan for myself.
Yeah.
So kind of like, what are my favorite drinks? What are my favorite foods? What are my favorite shows? What are my favorite cozy activities? And I keep that resource as a way to have something to look at and reference when like my mind can't do any thinking power.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I can make myself hot chocolate. I could watch The Hunger Games. I could watch like Parks and Rec, or I can color because I like coloring in my coloring books and things like that. So having a crisis plan. And then the other thing, which is kind of like not the primary, is just like trying to like instill healthy habits in your life. Like, you know, the big things like having a routine, having like movement in the day if you can, trying to like watch what you eat. I know there's like research that says like cruciferous vegetables are really good for people who experience PMDD. So like broccoli, cauliflower, things like that. And again, I say that, but like when you're experiencing the PMDD symptoms, it's like, I don't want to listen to that. I'm just saying that if you can, those things do help. Or even if you don't do them during your PMDD window, but you do them the other times in your cycle, they could be helpful in managing your like mental health. But not 100%, because like sometimes it's like, don't tell me to do yoga. Like I'm not feeling it. And so I say it with like a grain of salt, because like I don't want to be that person, but like just know that if you can and you feel like it. I will say, in terms of like yoga, there's a YouTube channel called Yoga with Adriene that has free yoga videos, and there's a lot for mental health. So like I'm a big gentle yoga person. And so like during my PMDD window, if I want to do yoga, I'll do like a video that's like yoga for depression or like yoga for stress. And those do help. So just know that there's ways that you can tailor those healthy habits during your cycle.
Yeah, I think building healthy habits when you're not in crisis is really helpful, because sometimes if you can do them enough when you're not in crisis, they become so automatic that you're able to do them even when you are in crisis. Now, that's not always the case, and that's fine if you can't, but like I do think if you can develop healthy habits outside of crisis, sometimes it helps carry you through those times of like, I don't know how I'm gonna get through this.
You put that perfectly.
Yeah, and like so we were roommates in college. I don't know if you knew this, but yeah, I've had a crisis box for a long time. Like, and so in college it had a picture of my family dog, $5 with a sticky note that says order ice cream. And I actually had 2 lists in there. One was a list of cozy activities, like you said. I called them like soothing activities. And then I also had another list that was a list of impulsive activities, because I am an impulsive person and always kind of have been. So if you're listening to this and you're like, okay, but when I'm having my PMDD week, I don't want cozy things. I want to like kill something. And that's fair. That's super valid. I get it. So for me, I would have impulsive activities that were safe. So like dyeing my hair has always been a big one for me. I would have like, okay, go on a road trip to a city like 2 hours away just for a change of scenery. Or, I would have like ice. You could get ice cubes and chuck them at the bathtub or chuck them at the back patio. Like I still do this to like calm my nervous system sometimes. So there's like impulsive stuff to do too.
Okay, I'm gonna have to add that.
Yeah, because sometimes PMDD is not all like sadness, although because it can be, but like depression it's not just depression. It's this intense like irritability as well. That's like really unnerving. I'm sure it is for someone like you who's always been very like, cause like, okay, not to over disclose, but like you've been through some shit, but you are just such like a sunny person. I'm sure it was really scary for you to like lose that all of a sudden.
Yes. I literally felt like a different person. Like someone once said that PMDD was like, it feels like someone has hijacked your brain.
Yes.
And that's exactly what it feels like. Cause yeah, I'm not a really like angry or irritable person, and during those periods of time I would like get short with my son or like my dog or get like really annoyed, and I'm like, this doesn't seem like me. So yeah, it was very unnerving, but finding resources that helped me understand that no, I'm not crazy, there's something that's happening to me, and it can be triggered at any time. It kind of like soothed my soul and kind of like gave me an idea of, because I could put a name to it, I could look up strategies that help with that. So yeah.
Yeah. And I had a thought and it ran away. But it was about the whole like being super irritable and frustrated and feeling like your brain is getting hijacked. And I don't know if it's going to come back, but that's okay. Oh my gosh. Well, thank you so much for hopping on the YouTube channel with me and doing this interview. And thank you so much for being in the bundle. So the bundle is free, you guys. It's literally freaking free. And this tracker that she's made is incredible. And it's usually not free. It's usually a paid product, and you can get it for free in the bundle from May 20th to May 26th. If you want to make sure you don't forget, go get on the wait list, because if you're watching this channel, you probably have ADHD and you're going to forget. So go get on the wait list. And until next time, I guess we will see you around.